Hi, I'm Dr. Charles Edward Florendo, and thank you for attending this workshop. You know, your food has a big effect on your control pause too. So let's take a look at how you should choose your food. This is about the principles of choosing your food. Now let's go to our first principle. Principle number one, the more organic a food product is, the better is its effect on the control pause. In ancient times, there were no chemical-based insecticides nor genetically modified organisms. Everything was presumably organic. Things are different now. We no longer grow our food in the same way. We no longer process it in the same way. Thus, a lot of our food are no longer considered organic food. Here are the characteristics of the ideal organic foods. Number one, the ideal organic food is free from genetic modification, otherwise known as GMOs. GMOs are organisms whose DNA were designed in a laboratory to achieve unnatural advantage in the marketplace. These may include pigs and chicken that grow faster than normal, tomatoes that can prevent rotting longer, or even extra large garlic and onions. GMOs have an unnatural advantage over their native non-GMO counterparts, so much so that GMOs have taken over many of our store shelves. These GMOs have been speculated by many to cause long-term health problems and may bring down your control pause more severely than organic food. So we consider them organic when this product was not produced using genetic modification technology. The product itself should not have undergone some sort of gene manipulation to become bigger or more productive. If the product is an animal, it should eat its typical food in the wild rather than genetically modified corn or other genetically modified food. Anything applied or injected into the product should not have been developed using genetic modification. Secondly, the ideal organic food is a product that did not use chemical fertilizers, insecticides, or was not injected antibiotics or steroids. Insecticide manufacturers claim that their products are safe because they passed particular safety tests. However, these tests cannot guarantee long-term safety. These tests were only able to prove short-term safety goals. And you have to understand that safety does not mean that nothing bad can happen to you or that you cannot get ill. Safety only means that they underwent tests that proved that the chemical's ill effects are within an industry-determined range. Another major issue is that these chemicals tested in the laboratory were tested in ideal settings. In actual use, farmers may use much more insecticides than what is in the label. Farmers may also use multiple kinds of insecticides at the same time. These insecticides were tested individually in the laboratory. They were not tested nor intended to be used together at the same time. Thirdly, animals and plants that were sourced from the wild are always more organic than their farm counterparts, no matter how organic the farm may be. When I was living in Africa, we had this particular food product that the natives would simply go to the forest and harvest it from the forest. They did not plant them, they were not farming them, they would just grow it wildly in the forest. This is how it was done in the ancient times. Food was not farmed. Animals, vegetables, and herbs caught in the wild are still more organic than their organically farmed counterparts. Fish caught in seawater are good examples. Seawater fish aren't farmed but are instead just fish from the wild. Fourthly, organic animal products mean that the animal eat the same thing as it does in the wild. For instance, cows typically eat grass, not corn. So organic cows should be eating grass instead of corn. Likewise, chicken normally eats worms, not corns. You will find that genetically modified corn is now becoming the preferred staple for many cows, chickens, pigs, and even fish. Corn is not what these animals normally eat in the wild. Plants that grow in soil are more organic when they are grown in soil rather than when they are grown in water. In hydroponics, we make a water and nutrient solution and grow the plants there. There is no soil, it's not the natural way that the plants grow. Plants grow faster when they are grown in hydroponics, but they lack vital nutrients for your body, such as minerals and trace elements. Principle number 1, the more organic a food product is, the better is its effect on your control pos. Principle number 2, the less processed a product is, the better is its effect on your control pos. Processing can be as simple as packing a vegetable into new packaging, or as complex as cooking and mixing chemicals into it. The more processes a food product undergoes, the worse is its effect on your control pos. There are times that even organic products undergo so much processing that their health effects become questionable. For example, we think of vegetables as something healthy, but when they experience all sorts of processing to make the vegetables look and taste like meat, it becomes veggie meat. Unfortunately, many of these processes used to make veggie meat end up making the product unhealthy. In fact, the ingredients and processes used in many veggie meat products in the market is no different from that we consider junk food snacks. So, when selecting food, it isn't just the ingredients that affect you. The processes used in those ingredients are also critical. Following this principle, you will find that fresh meat is better than hot dogs. Fresh green vegetables are better than veggie meat. Fresh fruits are better than fruit juice. Principle number 2 states that the less processed a product is, the better is its effect on the control pos. Principle number 3, too much protein tends to have a worse effect on the control pos. Particular proteins from shrimps, crabs, chicken, eggs, and milk products tend to have the worst effects. Protein is quite suitable for those growing children and people trying to build up muscle. But if you aren't building up muscles and you aren't growing taller or bigger anymore, the extra protein that you'll take will only make your blood more acidic and will promote hyperventilation. This in turn will also bring down your control pos. For some reason, the protein from shrimps, crabs, chicken, eggs, and milk products seem to have the worst effect on the control pos. You may notice that after eating a full meal of chicken or eggs, you can experience some nasal congestion. So, if you are already a full-grown adult, you don't need as much protein as someone in a growth spurt. So you may need to eat a little less protein. You do still need a minimal amount of protein to power your immune system. Therefore, the third principle is too much protein tends to have a worst effect on the control pos. Particular proteins from shrimps, crabs, chicken, eggs, and milk products tend to have the worst impact. Principle number 4. The less cooked a food item is, the better is its effect on the control pos. Cooking destroys nutrients and enzymes needed by your body. Some specific cooking processes are hotter than others. The hottest ones, such as pressure cooking, frying, and air frying, are more dangerous. When you cook food at such high temperatures, many vitamins and enzymes get destroyed. In addition, if you are exposing carbohydrates such as rice, flour, and potatoes to such high temperatures, you will be developing a carcinogenic product called acrylamide. So I encourage you to avoid cooking your food in such high temperature processes. Principle number 4 states that the less cooked a food item is, the better is its effect on the control pos. Principle number 5. Toxins tend to pull the control pos down. These can include insecticides, food additives, fungus, and molds. We mentioned insecticides when we discussed organic food. Here, let's discuss the other toxins. Food coloring is the artificial stuff that gives your food a more appetizing color. Companies have been reported to add food coloring to our raw fish and meats, vegetables, and even fruits. Among the many different food coloring available in the market, studies have focused on a particular one called Yellow Number 5. Yellow Number 5 is one of the most commonly used food colorings in the industry. Yellow Number 5 has received a lot of complaints and reports causing allergies. Aside from pulling down your control pus, food coloring may be the culprit for some of your allergies or problems when you eat certain foods. Other pervasive toxins are those from fungus and molds. Yeast is a kind of fungus that is added to bread to make it leaven. Some of this fungus can make it to your stomach. If you frequently have a fungal skin infection or vaginal infection, you might want to consider fungal infestation in your intestines as a possibility. This condition is called intestinal candidal infestation. In case you suspect you have this condition, we can do tests for it. If you or your doctor suspects that you have candidal infestation in your intestines, you can benefit from a diet that is low in bread and sugars. Another common place where molds can grow in are leftover foods, so be sure to consume your leftover food as soon as possible. Another place where molds can grow are your condiments, such as your ketchup, mayonnaise, and mustard. So it's a good idea to buy these products in small packages that you can easily consume. Alright, so principle number 5, toxins tend to pull your control pus down. These can include insecticides, food additives, fungus, and molds. To get the best results for your program, you should follow these principles whenever you choose your food. What's more, we will now be producing your food list based on these principles. Watch out for the next video.